Mira esto. Mira esto.
Feminism is a movement that was constructed to pursue gender equality by privileging the female voice. There's a really good reason for this. This is because most spaces, history, politics, have been dominated by the male voice, and feminism is supposed to be a safe space where women can share their experiences and support each other in the pursuit of gender equality. The role of men in the feminist movement is crucial, but it's intended to be subordinate. They're supposed to be our allies. They're not supposed to be at the forefront of the movement. I'm going to try and explain this through two overarching themes. Firstly, I'm going to talk about why men should be subordinate within the feminist movement, and secondly, I'm going to try and suggest what exactly men could do to help us. So firstly, why should men be subordinate within the movement? Emma Watson's he for she speech made one fundamental error, in my opinion. She mentioned a number of inequalities against men, a number of discriminations, but she made it seem as though discrimination against men is just as entrenched and just as pervasive and just as prevalent as discrimination against women. And we only have to look around to know that that's simply not the case. In many parts of the world, women are denied their most basic rights. There's a complete lack of political representation of women. Women aren't in the top boardrooms. So discrimination against women is to a much greater extent than discrimination against men, which is why their voice needs to be privileged. The second reason why the role of men should be subordinate is a bit more complicated. It's the concern that men might dominate the safe space. For instance, right after Emma Watson's he for she speech, another gender conference was organised in Iceland by the UN, just for men. How on earth can we pursue any sort of conversation about gender equality without the marginalised gender present? This is the concern that feminists have, that if men are at the forefront of the movement, they drown out the female voice. The best way that men can help us is to support us, is to listen to us, not to try and take over. So what exactly should men do to help us? The role of men isn't as simple as what Emma Watson seems to be framing it as, which is take a picture of yourself with a hashtag he for she photo and put it up on Twitter, sign a campaign pledge online, and that's it. Their role in pursuing gender equality is done. That's simply not the case. Men need to challenge themselves. They need to challenge the stereotypes they have. They need to challenge the social conditioning that they've been subject to. They need to challenge their own complicity in the perpetuation of the patriarchy. The word complicity is tricky because it makes it seem like men are consciously trying to oppress women. That's not the case at all. Men and women have been raised within the patriarchy, so we're all going to do things to perpetuate it, which is why it's so much more difficult to challenge what we know, but that's the only thing we can do to try and change the status quo. So men, we do need you. We do need you in the movement, but we need you as our allies. So please, challenge yourselves. Make yourselves do things that frighten you. Feel discomfort, because that's what's really going to help us. If you want to find out any more about this conversation about the role of men in the feminist movement, click on any of the links on my right and you'll be able to add to the conversation yourself.
Wouldn't have to holler, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm only 5'6", got the bricks for the fix to raise me up an inch. I can see the Whitney records from here, they're in my view. If you could help me for a second, I will always love you. She's my girl, oh wait, was that CCR too? Man, go back up the ladder, I'm about to revive you. They call me Proud Mary, got a spell on you. If you heard it through the grapevine, then you know that it's true. It's like